Fantastic. Welcome back, everybody who had the stream on your speakers, and rest in peace, headphone users, as we return to the show. So good to have you all back. Everyone that can hear what we're saying. By the way, if you missed the beginning of the show, we have the LizZard. It is LizZard. And then we have Snare, Jack, two wonderful people that have agreed to join us here at 2 a.m. or whatever godless hour it is today to talk about some Dota 2. So good to have you. First time that we've met.
Yes.
Yes, and...
but it's the second time we've been on camera together, in a way, because it's the first time we've been on camera live. But I remember this might have been 3 years ago. I know it was a long time ago because you still had lots of hair, and you were doing we were doing DPC recap, right? DPC recap, and one of my friends who was doing one of the China regions, he couldn't make it, and he's like, "Yo, bro, were you watching games this week?" And I was like, "Of course, dude, I was watching China. Like, what do you think?"
Oh my God!
I randomly showed up. I forget what the clip was, but there was some really cool play with Visage down like the Radiant side. And you actually started enthusing me. You were like, "Oh my God, that was so smart. That was so cool. Where did you find this clip?" And I was like, "This is just Chinese Dota, bro. Come over to the good side."
I can't believe that. It actually just brain blasted me. I actually remember. That is incredible. Yes, that's so cool. So it's just short and sweet. We were doing like this YouTube thing, and I was looking for people to, come in and talk about the different regions. And you were watching it. You were one of those people. That is incredible. I did not know that. But anyway, Jack is also here. But shut up, Jack. We'll get to you soon.
I was just about to insult you. I was going to say 3 years later, he's replaced you. So
Good.
Yeah.
The community needs a replacement, thank God. But, sir, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Because to me, you're kind of like not a new person in the scene, but you're really growing and you're really becoming a household name. And like, what's your story? How'd you get into Dota? Tell us your whole deal, man.
Let me think. Dota. So I used to play Dota normally, just Dota 1, Warcraft 3A mods, but at the time, my esports experience was mostly in fighting games and in FIFA. I wasn't really that much into the Dota side of things. And then I remember TI3. I'd just come back from a festival, right? It was a music festival, and I was actually really angry that weekend. So we're at this festival. I traveled with a bunch of people, and these people wanted to leave after one of the acts, right? And I was like, what's the point of going to a festival if you're not going to enjoy every single show that we're there for? So we argue, we fight about this, and I was just like, fine, screw it, let's just go. Let's just leave right now then, fine. We're actually going to miss that show as well. We're going to miss the headline act. We're missing everything. We're just leaving right now. And then, obviously, a very impulsive decision. I get back home, and I'm like, I've just wasted a bunch of money, a bunch of time. What am I going to do with myself? And then TI3 happened to be on at the same time. And I wasn't really that much into Dota, but this was, qualifiers were happening. And I remember it was Rattlesnake International versus some other random
Yeah. This is his time, man.
This is like
I don't even remember who's on that team.
This was Lane's Rattlesnake, and I forget who was on that team. I think Doc might have been there as well. But anyway, I'm watching these games. I'm like, oh, this seems pretty cool. I could really get into this. And I can't sleep anyway. I've already been traveling all night. I might as well just spend the night watching Dota. And then I was planning to watch 1 or 2 games. And then 7 hours later, I was like, oh my God. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I finished watching these qualifiers, and then I couldn't wait to watch the next actual TI, in between the, when the actual qualifiers end and the group stage begins. So I'm like, how do I fill the time? Oh, look, on these VODs, TI2. I wonder what happened at that tournament. I end up fiending the whole of TI2, right? I fall in love with Zhao 8 and the boys immediately. I end up watching TI3. I'm like, this is actually really, really cool. Afterwards, I'm like, I want to actually, sometimes you watch really good Dota, it makes you want to play it.
Yeah, that's
And I start playing more Dota, and then I realized, I think 2 days later, that damn, I'd actually just spent the last 2 days doing nothing but Dota. Wow, this is actually really fun.
You win that TI chart.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Jack, was it the TI as well for you, or?
No, but
more old school here.
I find this unique because I don't know how common that type of origin story is, because I feel like it's the most ass backwards way that people, you know what I mean? Because how does someone watch Dota and be like, isn't their first reaction what the hell is going on, instead of oh, I want to play this game? So that's really cool. I wonder if people have a similar experience. But I'm an old fogey. I've been playing Dota for I think since 2006. I was actually talking to Fear about this on the panel, and I was mentioning these old school in-house league names, and he's like, how the hell do you remember those people? And I was like, Fear, I'm actually older than you, So yeah. So I've been around Dota for a really long time, and that's a more normal progression for me.
Long live the king, the true king.
True old man. The real old man.
Of course not. Yeah, I can't make fun of him for being old anymore.
What in-house leagues did you play? Do you remember Dotalicious and
the original one was just literally called In-House League. It was run by this guy named Ucross, and See, European players, I think this was back when NA Dota was still, the Europeans came over to play in that league, and there was like really cool game modes that you don't really see anymore. So you guys obviously know about like ARDM and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, of course.
There was a really cool game mode called ARMM. So basically, it would random 5 heroes, and then both teams would have the same pool of heroes. So, like, how good?
What?
Yeah,
Mirror match.
Yeah, exactly. Mirror
All
match.
random
So-
mirror match.
So
yeah.
where you distributed the heroes, who was good on them, like how they laned, like that determined the match because you had the same heroes. So, like stuff like that was actually really cool. I liked modes like that back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of when I caught the Dota bug, and I've been infected ever since. Let's put it that way.
I'm wondering, like, yeah, okay, but Dota 1 and Dota 2 in South Africa, like, is there a lot of players there? Like, I know about South African Dota because of one thing. All the Balkan people, because we're poor as hell, like 10 years back, 15 years back,
Yeah.
would go and play all your tournaments.
Yep,
Like,
and they
poor-
would rinse us.
Oh, is that true?
we were smurfing on their servers. Yeah, not me, perhaps, but some people.
Oh,
were.
yeah, some degenerates, not me. of
How's
course.
Dota?
So
over there?
Dota is kind of on the fritz right now. Like it's actually gotten really bad to the point where a lot of the people in South Africa who play Dota honestly just play on Europe servers if you're going to be playing for anything, right?
Yep.
You just play for fun, whatever. You can't play at home. And all the normal pubs, people don't play normal pubs anymore. You just play Turbo. Like in South Africa, you either play
Turbo?
Turbo Dota or you play Europe pubs. That's it. There's like no in between.
Okay.
There was like a thriving community for a little bit of time in Dota 2. Like it sort of bled over from Dota 1. A lot more people got into it with Dota 2. But we kind of messed it up. We did the classic thing, you infuse a scene with money too soon, but you don't actually distribute the money equitably
Oh,
or in a reasonable fashion. Before you know it, a couple of people have
Classic,
walked
eh?
away
Whoa,
really rich.
What?
Classic? Are you sure this is? Yeah. Anyway, go on. Go on.
Which region are you talking
But back in the
Cut
day,
him
like,
out. Next.
we had a lot more people in Dota 1 though. Like Dota 1 was really, really fun. It actually took us a long time to start playing Dota 2 because Dota 2 was a lot more resource intensive for like your internet. You needed a better PC, and all of us had like awful machines back in the day. So it's like, well,
What
you can't
about
still play
lands? Did
Dota
you
1.
have like
A lot of people like play Dota at LANs, right?
Yeah.
Like most people, like when I was playing Dota, if you were playing online, it was really, really hard to actually come across people to find games. So there used to be LANs like every 1 or 2 months, you go to this one location, all of you go. That's where you meet all the Dota players, and then you never hear from them again because you can't connect with them online.
Man, we had the weirdest shit happening on our lands. Like you would take a train, travel for like 12 hours to a land that
Oh
the
my
prize
God.
pool is
Here
Snicker
we
bars
go.
or
Oh,
something.
I was about to say, a mouse
I
pad,
don't
bro.
hear your old man
mouse
Dota
pad.
stories. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Well, back in my day, I had to take a bus and win a mouse. Sorry, Gramps. Okay.
And today we're in Bali, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's
Real
Yeah.
talk, the first actual LAN that I went to that I played in as a Dota player to try earn prize money. The prize pool, obviously back then we also had to put in your money for the total prize pool. And then the idea was whoever won, the next tournament would be free. So you get a little bit of the cash for now, but then the main reason you want to play is that, okay, I don't have to pay entrance fee next time, thank God. I just come in for free.
Oh, okay. There
And
you
every
go.
now and then the customary mouse pad, and it's just like, yay. I remember there was a time when I thought, my goodness, everyone's a superstar, when people were winning keyboards.
Oh, my.
You're like,
Yeah, but
whoa.
everyone knew about the guy, right? The one that was winning, the team that was winning. Everyone knew about them.
Yep.
It was more about the community than
Oh
the
my
prize
God,
Yeah.
that Malk guy is
Yeah, yes,
crazy.
Mel. I mean, we can just go with first
Mel.
LAN experiences. I went to one. It was called Fire and Ice. It was in Chicago. I remember we were like obviously like flat broke at the time, so we decided to take like a Greyhound. Me and my friend who was on one of the teams from New York. It was like a 24-hour Greyhound. Like we just didn't sleep. Switched through all these stations. That was not the first time I didn't sleep at a LAN, but it was rough. And then we got there. I don't remember what the top prize was, but I remember MYM. It was definitely the Merlini, one of the Merlini male conditions. They won the conventional portion of the tournament, and I remember afterwards, I think it was Team Pandemic went up to them and they were like, "Yo, I bet we can take these guys in ARDM." So they challenged them to some like cash match in ARDM, and they won. It was like $200. Like, whoa, damn, that's like almost the
got
day of your
hustled.
trip. Yeah, exactly. So it was scuffed, but it was really cool to just meet people who also love this like obscure game, see what they're like in person. It was great.
Ooh, actually, speaking about obscure games, so
Yeah.
with Dota, I have a story about some South Africans, and I hope they're watching. I'm going to
Okay.
let them know the clip.
Here we go.
So, Scant in Knoxville, who people would still know.
Sorry.
At the time, Scant was playing for a team called Bravado Blue, I think. And Knoxville was just, he's just Knoxville. This was before he made the grand journey over the shores. And I remember because they became somewhat prominent in the community, right? Everyone knows these guys. And I tried to meet them. I tried to go to these guys. Hey, what's up, y'all? What's happening? And they both looked at me. Kid, who the hell is this guy? what the hell does he think he is? And I literally stood there trying to like introduce myself for so long, and eventually I was like, oh, they're not going to remember who I am, are they? Okay, great guys, bye.
Now they
Oh my
remember
God!
you.
Is
though.
that,
Now they
Now
know.
they
is
know.
the
Now they
story,
know.
That's the story. Jesus.
That was an interesting
that was
introduction
dark.
to Knoxville.
Fuck you, Skid. I hope you're watching. I hate you.
I mean, we're cool now, boys. No?
Was this? Yeah, this is the reason why you came to this show. Was
That's why I was like,
it's a redemption arc.
You remember me?
I was like,
Where are you now?
this is my villain origin story.
Yeah.
I was like, one day.
Guy agreed to come on at 2 a.m.
Yeah, all these,
Gotta
no,
go.
that makes
guys-
sense. It makes sense. All these
Oh,
scores that need to be
perfect.
settled. My introduction to Knoxville.
What do you hate? Please, Jack, tell us all about it.
my
Can anyone ever wrong you in your career and you can call him out on a monkey business?
I don't have any vendettas to settle right now, but my introduction to Knoxville was a little bit more memorable. I think I first saw I think it was the Manila Major. He was like super drunk and he body slammed Nahaz through like the stage or something. Yeah, because they had this like opening ceremony.
What?
They did this like fancy dance and all that stuff, and then he literally just picked up Nahaz and just threw him like through the stage, and I was like,
What are you
all right,
doing,
this
bro?
is
Who
yeah,
did
yeah.
this?
Knoxville.
That sounds like Knox, yeah.
That is definitely
He'll own up to this too. He's definitely
Holy,
yeah.
Crying. Stuff.
holy moly. That was.
We're cool now, though, bro.
Yeah, we're cool now. We're cool now.
Now,
Real talk, how he made it up to me, right? He didn't know he made it up to me, but I remember once. This is like I think one of the first tournaments I was actually doing, and there was a lot of data that I wanted understanding with, right? I didn't really know how to navigate that Dota,
Yeah.
and I hollered at him. I was like, "Yo, bro, I need." He was like, "I got you, fam."
Yeah.
And little did he know it was a test, but he
Damn.
passed. It was cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, all jokes aside, good guys.
Yeah, very good guy.
Okay, great. Yeah, good guys. We love them, actually. Would anyone ever wrong you, LizZard?
many have wronged me, but let's not continue bashing people and players.
Please, no pillows that content. Thank you. All right.
I'm
right.
looking at the whole European pub scene here,
Yes,
pretty much. We've
Well,
all wronged
Slacks,
each other.
Slacks.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I met you. Still.
You too.
ESL 1 New York 2015 or something.
What does he do to you?
Let's-
No.
Yeah.
He I just saw this like kind of funny looking, strangely tall dude just walking around, and I was like, my voice sounds kind of weird. So then I met Slacks. I was like, man, I thought my voice sounded
voice
weird.
is
This
great,
dude's got- right? And then I was like, I'm like, who are you? I'm new to this. He's like, I'm Sir Action Slacks. I'm like, all right, all right, good luck out there. And then you were just you did your thing. You went up riling up the crowd and stuff, and I thought I'd never see you again. But years later,
Here he is.
here we are.
Couldn't get rid of him.
I remember you as well. When I heard your voice for the first time, I said, wow, that does not match. I mean, if you close your eyes and you listen to Jack's voice, he has like, you remind me of like an L.A. noir, like deep detective.
LA Noir.
Yeah,
I mean, look at
yeah,
him, he's
exactly. It
smiling
is,
and
it
he's
is,
so
it is.
happy, but like, if you close your voice, could you please just like give us an intro, like a
Yes.
noir intro?
Oh my!
Dark Knight.
I
Walked
can't.
into the office,
It's, no, this is not yet in my wheelhouse. I might need to drink a little bit before I can.
Okay, don't worry. I won't put you on the
Yeah,
spot, my friend. Well, we have done a great job establishing that we're all a bunch of old coots who have seen it since the beginning. Let's talk a little bit about the major these days, about what's going on with the current Dota, my friends. Quite an eventful day today for many different reasons. Of course, the biggest story coming out today, Beast Coast, they won their series. They're
Baited.
absolutely
Yeah.
incredible.
Incredible.
yes. But yeah.
It was also good. To be fair, it was also a great series, and it's a series that's kind of important and carries a lot of history, right, between these two teams.
Right. But a huge day as well for some Chinese Dota. Huh? It was a good. What's wrong, Snare?
It was a painful day for Chinese Dota.
In what way?
So China only has one slot, right?
Yeah.
And now, because Team Asta couldn't make it, they will only be 2 Chinese teams at TI for the first time ever. And not only that, throughout the history of TIs, for the most part, I think there's only been 2 TIs where there haven't been more than 3 Chinese teams in the top 8. And most of them have actually had most of the Chinese teams in the top 6. So for the first time, not only will that not happen, it physically cannot.
Dang.
It's painful, and the region itself, I kind of think, it was very clearly in transition, right?
Yeah.
And I think a good TI would have really helped the region a lot, right? To be able to say, hey guys, look at us again. Sort of similar to how much South America has grown by given more opportunities to do well at TI. Now we're not going to have that. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt.
To be fair, we've been trying to give China a really good TI for like 3 or 4 TIs now. They've kind of just been kind of
It's only
shit
the
the bed
last
in
two
the
that were
final.
bad.
That's more on them, I think. No, but just
They've been reforming. Like a lot of teams have been like, reshuffling. Both of you are
Sure,
following
sure,
the
sure.
Chinese Dota, like, Red Jack. Like they've been all over the place.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm impressed by Snare's knowledge of that scene. He's looks like he's replacing both of us, I guess, at this point. But yeah, it's been pretty tough. Just the economics of it has been really. I mean, there haven't been a tournament there since Shanghai, right? That was like TI
Right.
4 years ago, obviously because of COVID. But I've talked to some of the teams here, and you've already seen this year, like Vici which is one of the bigger names in the scene,
They're
is
nowhere.
gone.
Yeah.
There might be, I would say, maybe like a few years at most, if even that, for like before you see like an IG or some of these other clubs also just pull out of there. The economics are just really bad. There are clubs that this is confirmed. I won't say who, but like players have been owed salary and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the big ruling that came down the scene, like not only was that a symptom of like really bad times, but that also gutted a lot of the depth or like people who would consider trying to play, I would say, more seriously onto like tier 1 teams. Like that pipeline is kind of just broken because like a lot of players reason that they'd be better off just like even boosting accounts and trying to play for like a traditional like tier 2 team and then trying to work their way up from there. So it's pretty rough. They're having trouble finding players. Obviously, they've taken a lot from C already as well, which hurts that region too.
Yeah.
It's pretty bleak. And
It's
then
rough.
just talk about the some of the bases of some of these clubs too. So a lot of the clubs formed kind of like rich billionaires' sons back in the day. They wanted to get early into esports and became this fascinating thing for them. For some of them, just IG as an example, they've won a TI and they've won a Worlds, right? So those boxes have essentially been checked for the billionaire son who founded it. And so it's like, would I continue to invest more money and resources to try to climb that same mountain again? Or maybe, I look towards something different or other games and stuff like that. So that's one source that's kept a lot of these clubs afloat, that they don't really care about being sustainable. That's kind of beginning to dry out. And then there are other owners like that in the Chinese scene right now. Like they just want to have a team. They don't care about paying a lot or losing money to try to have a team to represent China and like do well. But once that starts to disappear, and once you have these other clubs where Dota operates at a loss and they have to go to other games to like even support that, and there's all these like it starts to look pretty
But
bleak.
wait, we started with the love and the community and the love for the game and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of talent that are willing to play for perhaps a little lower salaries here and there, right?
No, okay.
No?
No, it's just, sorry, continue.
I mean, yeah, that's sort of happened, but that's like then you aren't really getting new blood, right? It's like just
Yeah.
like the older players that fans resonate with, and
So Elephant ruined it all, right? Like that was the peak.
yeah,
I feel like Elephant was really bad for that scene. Like in retrospect, it wasn't great.
Guys, you're bumming me out here. Gee, I mean,
Yeah,
I got a
yeah.
Hawaiian shirt
Yeah,
and a
this is
bucket
the-
hat. You guys are making me depressed.
That's what
My
you
God.
get for getting men who are working at 8 a.m. in the morning.
We
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
the
God.
problem is we have way too much Chinese knowledge. Like between these two and perhaps BCOP, I don't know anyone that fiends as much Chinese Dota. So they're
instead of
they're
giving,
really connected.
instead of giving you the Nor intro that you look for, I'll just give you the facts to paint.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
That's-
Okay, well, what about some positive stuff though? You guys, kind of link. Well, how's the Chinese community like feeling about this stuff? We know that they got great memes, but they're also kind of a little testy with their pros, a little cruel, if you will. Is it an air of, would you say, like support and let's fix it, or doom, or what's going? God, Jack, just lie,
no.
just lie,
Next
bro.
question.
Wrong question.
the meme quality changes with the general mood. So like a lot of memes now are just like they're just either much more savage or much more kind of like doom and gloom, or like kind of like making fun or poking fun the players. A little bit of a contrast from back in the day. So it's I mean there's obviously still going to be people who are always fans of Chinese Dota, want to see the teams do well, which is great. And that also adds pressure to the players there, because unlike any other region, you're playing for yourself, you're playing for your club. In China, you are also playing for your country, I would say, more than just about any other region. And so that adds more pressure to them. The fans do love that, but again, without results or without a team that they think can just be back amongst the elite, it's hard.
Yeah. But there are other regions though, and some regions still have a ton of talent, some organizations supporting them, and some of them aren't feeling perhaps that great today after some of the series.
What are you alluding to, Lizard?
What's my alluding? No, we kind of all watched the games today. We've had some issues with certain teams.
What are you alluding to, Lizard? Go ahead and say it.
Well, I mean,
You seem to be dancing around some sort of
Put me on the
subject.
spot.
Ready,
What,
let's
are you,
go.
what exactly are you talking about?
Like-
Exactly.
Like a couple of keys on the keyboard. There are some there, right?
What? Okay, no problem. But yeah, a lot of different stuff going on in Dota right now. But I think there is a lot of positive news coming out, a lot of positive stuff as well. South America is absolutely slaying right now, which is good to see an investment, start to come forth. A lot of people were very critical of why you're giving slots away, why you're moving stuff. So yeah, it is a heartbreaker to see something as fundamental as Chinese Dota. Like, it has always been East versus West, Navi versus China. That's like where we came from. But at the same time, times change, communities grow in different ways, and I think Dota is just as healthy as it's ever been personally, especially with the new patch.
It's just like rotating a little bit in the regions, right? Like not only South America, there's SEA as well. Like I've never seen a region with as much talent as they have at the moment. Perhaps not in the tier 1 scene, the biggest teams, but there's just so much potential there. So it's also pretty good.
What do you all think? I've been thinking about like what to do about Dota, and, like, because Dota wanted ideally to be as international an affair as humanly possible. In the event that like we start rescinding slots away from China, given the situation there, do we start allocating slots to like Middle East, North Africa? Given like there aren't that many teams, of course, playing from that region, but I think it could be an interesting experiment. So South America did it, and South America, let's be honest, right? Although there was a big pool of players, they weren't that great for a long time, and I think it required players within the region to have a viable path to seeing themselves as superstars in order to try as hard as they humanly could, and then they got really, really good across the board. So if we were to allocate, even if it's just one slot, even if we know every TI for a few years, this MENA team's going to get dumpstered, would it not be a worthwhile investment to ensure that Dota doesn't get stuck in the regional way that it's been so far?
I mean, I think communities follow talent. As you said, you came in at TI3, right? You saw this huge event, and Sweden exploded after TI3 because they had good organic talent that was coming from Sweden, and we saw all these Swedish players coming. And then you look at a team like Quest Esports, and you're like, okay, look at these guys coming from a region that's not really that represented, and that is going to make fans from people that are watching that. Personally, I would love to have an international waters team. I think Gaben should buy an island. And anybody could come from any region, and that's just in the qualifier. And if you give your life to go to Gaben Island,
So you want to do Mortal Kombat for Dota?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
You want Shang Tsung to be there.
I want Gaben to come out and say,
Your
"Your soul is mine," and then Arteezy
MMR
just
is mine.
dies. It's international waters. He can kill him. But no, wouldn't that be hype if everyone got a region, but there was Dota Island, and that's like what North American Dota is. You basically just give up your life to hope for the shot. Why not make it a little bit more official? Send them off to the island. And if they make it, insta-qualifier from Dota Island, it's anarchy out there, Jack.
Little battle royale type.
We're
thing
not
going on?
PUBG, okay? I hope to be relevant in current year, but...
Okay, sure. I was referring to the movie, but yeah.
okay, sure, yeah, that's true. But,
Have you seen that movie?
oh, yeah, it was good.
Are they driving around the island? Is that the one? Like are
No.
they in a jail on an island? Is that the one? Or there's a couple of those, like Battle
There's a few of
Royale
them.
Island.
But like the original one. I think you mean the first one, right? The
Oh,
one
the
in
old
86
one. Oh, yeah,
Battle
yeah, of course,
Royale. Yeah.
Very good
Yeah.
movie.
Very good.
I went like zoomer mode for a second.
But yeah, I don't know. I think, as I said, we're going to see different talent grow to be big, and people tend to look at people as their heroes and say, like, I want to be that guy. And the more regions that we can get, the more representation, the better. I mean, I don't know.
We were actually speaking, like, now that you mentioned talent from different reasons, like ATF, one of probably biggest rising stars for the last year and a half, right? He holds quite a few destinies in his hands at the moment. We were speaking, what's his name? We were speaking outside with the Russian commentator.
Oh, yes.
Come on, help me out. He's my friend. I feel really bad
Wow,
that I
this
can't
is
remember
great.
the nickname. In any case, as he explained it, he won't mind
Was
it
it
too much.
Crystal May or something?
It was
No,
Crystal May, of
May.
course.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
I'm
was
crazy.
Crystal May.
As he explained it, the only way I feel Bad Boom goes through to TI at the moment is if Quest does not come in first, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
What
if
was the
Quest-
explanation?
So basically, if Quest gets to the finals, then that gives them enough TI points. They have to actually get to the finals in order
Okay.
to qualify for
Oh.
TI. Anything less than that guarantees Bedboom goes to TI.
Wow.
They will be right now hoping and praying that Quest wakes up with food poisoning. They're going to be walking around being like, guys, please play badly.
I mean, I would be too worried if I was Quest, you know? Qualifiers come in. There's an internet connection.
It's chill.
BetBoom will figure out how to fuck that one up. they'll figure that one out. But I'd be sitting on that one. No worries. No worries. Do you think that people can... Jack, you have, experience in being a manager of a team that is constantly, their fate is never in their hands. What was that like being in that spot of like, if these guys really goof up, what was that like?
Well, I think mostly you try to have people not think about it as long as you control your own destiny, which is most of the year.
Oh.
But you can't really, I don't know, you can't really stop people from like checking and doing little permutations because it's just a distraction, right? It's just like focus on us and our game and like everything else takes care of it. So that's the idea. But of course you can't stop that. That's just how it is.
Okay, do you miss the stress? Do
Yeah.
you miss it? Like you started paneling now, it's obviously maybe a little bit more work, but less stressful.
It's
Which one do you like more?
definitely I do miss it because there's stakes to it, and like so to me I was an only child, and so to me this is like having a bunch of younger brothers and you're all playing games together and trying to win, right? Trying to like take on the world. So that's like what that is to me. I've always been like very competitive and like love sports and stuff. So like this is like kind of like a proxy replacement for that. So it is very stressful, and I've never been under as much. I've never been as like hurt or as pained as some of these situations when you lose or you're eliminated from like a TI or something, or you're in a hotel room and your team's just like falling apart and you got to like pick up the pieces from like almost nothing. There's been no low that like approaches that, but then I think the one tournament we won. GSC Thailand, like there's also nothing that really approaches that either, or like just seeing how happy people are after you win like a hard fought series. I remember the Aster best of one in Romania, like when we won, like there's nothing that replaces moments like that. So yeah, to some extent I do miss it. It's hard not to. It's just the competition is.
Okay, so we already established you're the oldest man here, older than Fear.
Yeah.
But when are you coming out of retirement? What's happening?
Yeah, come home.
Which retirement?
Managing
Translator
managing a team retirement.
Quincy crew manager.
Yeah.
Running a North American team, I think that retirement's staying. But we'll see. Everything else, I'm slowly trying to inch myself out of retirement. But we got these snares out here that are they're ruthless. I can't do
All your
anything.
job up belong to us.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
ball is in
I
danger.
won the Mortal Kombat tournaments. That's the thing. I
I'll
was
see you on the
Kombat
island, bro.
That's
Gotcha.
why you wanted the battle
Gotcha,
royale so
gotcha.
much. Yeah,
Exactly.
I see. What about you, Snare? Like, did you ever play for a team or coach anything or anything like that?
I played for some teams that was like pretty bad though. Like wasn't really that good. Actually, like me playing is how I ended up casting initially. So there was a team that was called EAE. Like shout out the EAE boys, the crew. And there were like two little teams in that organization. And the better team than us, they were like way better. So we watch a lot of their replays to try and learn and understand, right? And then over some weekends, every now and then, we'd sit with them, especially with the captain, and be like, teach us, tell us what's going on. And then as we're doing this, we'd be like talking about the game, asking questions and things like this. And then one time he was like, he thinks I have a pretty good voice for this. We should try just like cast one of their games, right? Because he thinks that maybe us watching them while they're playing, right, would also give us a bit more understanding of what's going on. So like, yeah, sure, whatever. But not necessarily doing it to cast, primarily doing it to get better as a player.
Just to learn, yeah.
And then we're doing this, and people are watching through Dota TV, and people are like, "Oh, this is not bad. We can kind of vibe with this. We can listen to this." And then it just became like a sort of regular thing that like us and our friends, as we're watching their games, they're playing in like some random tier 17 official games. We're there casting this. People are watching, and people are just like, "Oh,
Chilling,
doing
enjoying
this."
it.
Yeah, chilling, enjoying. And then what would keep happening is that we'd be at tournaments, we'd get knocked out first round every time because we're terrible. And then it was like, well, I have nothing else to do. Might as well just get in the lobby, cast with these guys.
It's a natural casting thing that players do these days. Nothing changes. Thank you. Still happens.
I'm happy you're here. Like his road has been really damn long. Even like his first somewhat international appearance should have been in Kyiv, right? Like during the DPC, and he couldn't get there. Some planes got cancelled for a visa issue.
Yeah,
and stuff.
this was
So I'm really happy
Omicron.
you're here. Yeah.
Omicron. They didn't just
Yeah.
cancel the planes.
Omicron.
Like the world just said, South Africa, no, we're done. Stay home, guys. And it's like, well, and this happened. I got the news that the plane ride got cancelled the day I got my passport. So I just came home happy.
Oh no!
I was like, yay! I got
But you're
my
in Bali now,
passport.
right?
I'm
You're
so
in
excited.
Bali.
Now I'm in Bali. I'm
Yeah.
chilling. Now we're hanging out. Yeah.
I mean, in the pandemic game, that happens a lot as well. So, I mean, real life, Madagascar, you can't pierce Africa. It's very trapped. So, Sucks now. Later, though, could be cool when Domicron comes out or, whatever, and no one can leave, and then Africa's all that's left. So that's nice. At any rate, can I talk a little bit about the...
Can we talk a little bit about the
This
Dota?
became apocalyptic all of a sudden.
Oh, no, you guys didn't play the... Okay, whatever. Can we talk a little bit about what I think is one of the coolest things about you is your incredible fashion sense. The drip, the riz, if you will. This is such a rarity when it comes to Dota and nerds in general, because we can barely dress ourselves to get to the events in general. You got guys like Purge who think that they're fancy because they bought a ring and they're like, behold. I have accessorized off to Tinder, but no, you are absolutely dumpstering everybody. How did you learn this? Is there any way to teach others like how to actually look cool in a video game world?
I can actually tell y'all, right, how I actually became interested in fashion and clothing.
Absolutely.
Tyra Banks is America's Next Top Model.
Are you serious?
I'm
That
not
is
even
hype.
kidding. I'm not even kidding. So like back in the day, my cousin used to live with us, right? This was like maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago or something like this. So she would watch the show almost religiously. Actually, even longer than 10 years ago. I keep forgetting how old I am. So she'd keep watching the show, and it was just fun to watch, just trashy reality TV. But then over a while, you actually get a sense of what actually looked good on people and what looked kind of terrible.
Yeah.
And you'd see this, you're like, okay, cool. And then eventually, you stop watching the show ironically. Now you're just watching because you want to see the random drama, but you also really want to see what kind of outfits people to put together, what kind of photo shoots come out, just like the art style that can come around an individual, right? Just purely based on nothing but clothes and environment.
It reminds me, I watched some Spanish soap operas with my grandma, and I started picking up Spanish as a kid. Like,
Yeah. Through
I can
osmosis,
see it,
you sort of gain this thing, and then...
That's not the only thing you picked up.
I pick weights all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Jack? Who chose that shirt? Come on.
Well, I mean, I've told batik and floral shirts, so I went to literally Men's Warehouse and just like found whichever ones I could.
The first one.
I believe you mean H&M. Is where you went. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, no.
Sure.
So, can you teach us anything about looking good and fashionable? Because you're the only one in the Dota scene that is actually able to do it. Sorry, Fear, Purge, BSJ, everyone else that's trying. Is there anything that you can give us tip-wise for like how to have our own personalities come out? What do you do when you put something together like this? Because you look freaking fly every single time I see you.
Thanks, bro. I don't know. Like, I think the first thing is actually just finding out, like, not just something that looks good on you, but something that you feel good in. Because let's be honest, some of the outfits I've worn, especially throughout this year, right, are honestly ridiculous. Like, if you were to just try wear this randomly and you didn't feel good wearing this thing, it would not look good. But you sometimes put this on and you're like, yeah, this is a bit nice, this is a bit crazy, but I feel good in it. You can feel yourself walking a little bit differently. So I think that's step one, finding something that'll make you feel like you are the most swaggerlicious person ever. And even if it initially doesn't work, over time, eventually, you will occupy this riz, you will grow into it, and it'll become a part of you. And you'll just be able to pull it off. And it becomes a lot easier.
I think we just all need to hire you and go shopping with you, and that's it, right?
I mean, I get what you're saying though. Like, I have always wanted to wear a cape. I thought that was be hype.
I actually have one for this event.
You have a cape? A real cape?
It's like it's a coat thing. You'll see it. You'll see it.
I'm not talking like, like an archer or some little like piece of shit. I'm talking like
Oh.
M. Bison.
When you
That's
see
just
it,
like-
I think you will be very happy.
I
think
want to
you'll be very
open
happy.
doors and something is flowing behind me and I say, boy! And then that's all I do every
More
time.
people should wear
As a
capes.
You need to whip
translator,
us.
No, what the fuck?
as a translator, I think what Snare's actually saying is you have to actually be cool first to feel good wearing cool
Shut up,
clothes.
Jack, you
So that's
dumbass.
right. I got you. Right?
No, Slacks. I think you need to buy that cape. Next
Buy it,
TI,
bro.
you with the cape. I
Yeah.
think it's needed. Yeah.
I mean, it
we need
helps
to see it.
having a kid because it's like somebody looks up to you as someone as a respect because they don't know any better. Like, he's just a child. He can't escape the house. I don't let him leave. So he's like 2 years old and he thinks I'm important. So I feel like if I had a cape, maybe I could bring it from the house to the real world and I could open doors and people would have hushed whispers. Capes do that.
You cannot be the hero that Dota needs. Slack. You can't.
You know what's been really cool about this?
up, Jack.
When we went shopping for the clothes for the set, and we came back with everything, all the stuff that's there, and Winter came to me and he's like, bro, I need some help. What do I choose? And I was like, take this. And he's like, I don't know if these colors are really gonna suit me. And I was like, bruv, trust. And he's looked really good for most of this event, right? Winter's actually looked pretty pog, especially one of the long floor shirts. It's like, hey,
We need to get him on the panel. Like, he's been enjoying the Dota quite a lot. If you could pick besides the clothes, if you could pick one series or a game that was the best for you so far at the major, do you have any favorites? The 150-minute one, maybe?
Yeah, that was definitely. I mean, there's nothing that tops that. You're literally thinking about, are they gonna? Is he just gonna wait till he has 3 rapiers banked and then just portal to? I mean, there's.
Hold on. Actually, not that my favorite game was this entire event. IG versus, I forget who they were playing, but Emo was playing Ember Spirit, right? And his team is losing. They're playing on the dire side, and things aren't really going that well for them. And he decides, all right, we need to try and cheese this out, right? So Radiant team is basically taking Roshan. They're winning the game. Emo goes and buys Daedalus and double Rapier. So then he starts poking the tier 3 tower down bottom. He's poking, seeing if they're going to respond. And they don't respond. He's like, okay. Then he takes Rax. And they don't respond. He's like, okay. He goes middle. He takes the middle tower. And they still don't respond. And then he actually goes and takes the whole base. He's like, I'm going all or nothing with this one. And somehow, right, because they were behind, like, I don't know, something crazy, like 25k gold before that point, he by himself not only resets the entire game, resets the momentum, because even though they got the Roche, they have to come back to the base. They can't actually push and end the game. And now he's sitting there with 2 rapiers and a Daedalus and a ton of gold. He buys another rapier, ready to end the game. And he's like, well, come at us, y'all. And now the enemy team has to make an awkward decision. Do we hold our lead? We can't really because we have Megas. We have to go end the game, but now there's an Ember with double Rapier. That was like so much fun for me. Even though I think they ended up drawing the series, it was still, for me, the most entertaining game of Dota I've seen at the major so far.
Yes, I mean, those moments, like, that even happened in the Bet Boom series with the clutch Snapfire right at the end, rest in peace. But that was super incredible, too. Those moments where it's like, we're so devoted in this game, we've been in it for so long, and one player makes one snap decision, and he's like, I'm taking it. This is mine. Like, that is just, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. That's what Dota is.
That game, we were in here, and it went from, like, just, obviously, it was, like, a really long delay, right? So people were like, when's this game going to come back on? To, like, suddenly everyone's just in here, like, because the next shift had come. So all the commentators, everyone's just together, like, just excitedly watching. Can't wait to see what's going to happen in this game. It's, like, a back-and-forth thing. So, like, that was probably the most special part of that. I haven't seen this many people just like together watching a game like that among like the talent for like a long time.
Yeah, and you were talking about it while we were watching the last series. It really feels good to be here to watch the games, right? Unlike how it might feel if we were reading certain things on the internet, Jack, right? Like.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess we'll just get right into it. I not really as an experiment, but can't read certain things here, and. That was interesting because there's so many things have gone on throughout this tournament that people have talked about, and it was interesting to just not be able to be exposed to that and just kind of almost be in like a sort of bubble on the ground here, because we'll get updates from administrators from the tournament, like what's going on, but we don't see like all the little bits and pieces that people have compiled and all that. And I would say that it's been kind of refreshing because like that stuff, honestly, that stuff can like really drag you down, right? You can just create this like entire atmosphere of like, man, but we're just here like, well, they tell us if there's a delay, we'll wait it out. Like we're just having fun, chilling here, watching some Dota. So,
I mean, people.
I mean, it's okay for you. You go out, swim a little bit, come back.
Yep.
Something like that.
Sleep for 2 hours, wake up. I hear it. But people do ask, like, what's it like to do talent on Dota work, and are there any benefits or any negatives? And I think that. It's all pretty standard. You're just sitting in a room watching Dota and then talking about Dota as you would with your friends, like after watching. But there is this one thing that, like, I wish I could share with the entire Dota community, and it is exactly that. You're sitting in a room with the greatest minds of this game that you love, like legends. Like, I love the international or big events like majors where I don't know, PPD is here, Puppy is here, someone else is here, but everybody is silent, and we're all just watching a good game, and it's like, nobody's invested in it, like, whoever wins, but it's like, we're watching some good Dota with the biggest minds of Dota for the last, like, 15 years, and just, like, that feeling is so incredible at events like this, and it's something that you get in the crowd as well. You sit in the crowd, and you watch people that you're talking about, and, I don't know, I'm getting really gushy, but, like, I am not a social person.
It's like,
Yeah. When I go out to parties, my wife drags me to parties, people try to talk. I am literally that meme of the guy in the corner, like, they don't know that I actually want to not be here. But when you're at a Dota event, it's like we share so many things that have, like, hurt us and things that we love, and when you're on the audience, you feel that. But being in, like, the event here
Yeah.
and being with all these legends and just watching a game like you said, and everyone's just hyped to see Snapfire hit that. It is like I get goosebumps just talking about it. I wish I could share that with the whole Dota community.
It's special, right? And
All
you
right.
know that the greatest minds are talking about it as well. Like during, what was it? We didn't get him for way too many events, but we were blessed by AUI as well. Like,
Right,
for a couple
right.
of them, like he was paneling with me and just
Uh-huh.
being able to pick his brain, right? Just get his ideas about the game. And the fact that he's always completely chill about it. I don't know how much Snare you've met him and talked to him, but like no matter what idea you throw at him, he's like, oh yeah, that's good. Like, oh, it could work, you know, even though your idea is dog shit. Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna consider it, you know, he's gonna at least enter a discussion.
Yeah, he might give you a little grin before he says something that makes you feel really dumb, but at least he considered it for a second. Well, that's the other cool part about ideas. It's like a lot of situations, whether it's a pick or something, you can talk to like 10 different people at that level, and you might get 7 or 8 different ideas, and that's like another part of the beauty of this game. It like keeps you guessing, keeps you thinking about all these endless permutations, right? So that's the variety of this game is incredible.
Yeah, because that's really Dota, right? Like not, it's never one idea that's the ultimate end all be all. So
It's like anything can work.
Yes.
Like, whether it should work is a different story, but anything can't work. Then you come out being like,
and
oh,
MMR is just a number, right?
MMR is just a number.
Well,
We have
my
learned.
favorite thing about Dota is that you can just do the dumbest shit in one patch, and then you wait a few patches, you're like, I was walking the lane with no items 9 months ago, guys. They finally caught up, and yeah, maybe there's been 4 patches since, but
Are you still buying Orb of Venom and Techies?
yeah.
Tell me.
No, I don't. But yeah, I don't know. It's just cool. I love the major. I love seeing all these big brain teams come together and do all this stuff and go head to head. But even with annoying things, I still hate Morphling. I still feel like that hero
feel you,
just
brother.
does not need to exist.
What did you say? You won with him? How many times?
So if I hate Morphling, right? And here and then Bali, I've won 4 games back to back to back to back.
Oh,
If I'm winning with Morphling, trust me, then you know the hero's busted.
it's fine.
And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, something needs to change.
But it always happens. Morphling and Rubik, every single patch. We're good, everybody's happy, everything's balanced, and then something finds something with Morphling. And then here we are. Oh, he can take over Earthshaker. It's all ruined, guys. Here he is again. Oh, Rubik can take Techie's minds. Wipe it again. Just delete the 2 heroes. I don't understand. This keeps happening.
This is
What?
I'm on the same page.
Come on.
Yeah,
Snare.
it's
like
No,
suggestions, I'm
okay,
good with
you
this.
disappointed me now. Like this is one thing that I completely disagree with.
You
I
want
don't know-
techies to stay in the game? How you feel?
I love that the game has these innate broken heroes that annoy everyone. I love that part.
Yeah, I love that the game just has a conceptually unique hero. Honestly, like that's part of what makes the variety of this game awesome, right? It's just hero that just plays unlike anything else, that interacts with other heroes unlike anything else. Like that's the genius of the design behind this game. So, I mean, aren't you sad that like Techies isn't what?
Of course
what-
I'm sad.
yeah, well-
I'm sad because the precedent has been. I'm not going to talk about Techies. They told me, please don't talk about Techies every single show. So I'm not going to do it again. but-
He's banned from Techies. I'm banned from Epo.
Yeah,
That's
we're
fine.
not allowed
Okay.
to talk about these topics anymore. But yes, I agree. That is the flair of Dota, to make annoying heroes that should not exist and keep them existing instead of ruining them. No, I'm kidding. I'm not allowed to talk about this topic. Anyway, guys, time is ticking here as we are approaching the heyday of the show. And I would like to remind you, is your time ticking? Do you hope to be fashionable like our contestants here today? Our contestants, one of them will be perishing at the end of this show. Go ahead and shop at our merch store, guys. OG, they got merch. You can go get it. You can go get this glorious beach towel. Limited edition, maybe. I'm just making that up. I'm sure they have plenty of them. You can go get a shirt. There's only 2 of these in existence. Go click on it right now. If it says that there's more, we're lying. And yes, go buy the merch. Thank you so much. So as we wrap up, final topics here. Thank you. You were really modeling that talent
No, I'm
for
gonna.
quite some time.
It's
That's
chilly a little bit in here.
Okay,
That's
take
all.
it in.
I was just trying to
So,
make myself cozy.
Snare, what is your dream job in the world of Dota? You're rising now. You've done a lot of different things. I've seen you host. I've seen you interview. You're going to be stage hosting in approximately an hour and a half. No, I get it, but what do you hope to do in the scene? What would be your dream job?
If I can be involved in some capacity in the TI finals, I'll be good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anything,
goal.
huh?
Yeah, I think it's a bit weird for me because I've done so many different roles now.
Yeah.
Like, because this is my first year hosting in Dota at all. So, for the longest time, the idea was I want to try across the TI finals, but those slots have been eaten up Kappa and OD Pixel have been eating, sitting,
Yeah, it's
not
pretty-
allowing anybody to get in. But I think it will be either as a caster, either as a host, as an interviewer, just some capacity involved in TI finals. And I think, I'm not sure I'll be happy then, but I'll be like, okay, at least mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Now we can move on and just trying to see what else happens in the next adventure.
Oh, well, that's a fantastic answer. It just feel like you're part of history.
And Jack, when is Quincy Crew in Grand Finals?
Oh, yeah, here we go. I heard that one.
Why are you catching so many threes today, bro?
It's pure love between the two of them,
No,
trust me.
We
I
will
think
be in the finals. Maybe.
I think that's a good answer. That's a good answer. That I think that kind of inspired me. I think like I've worn a lot of kind of different hats in Dota, but I've been in a TI booth as well with the team. The dark times, not the best circumstances, but I think like when TrueSight does those things, like if I could be like for like the whole series, like with the TrueSight crew and just in like a TI finals, just like feel the sort of energy and the pressure of that, like that. Yeah, I agree with you. There's something about the TI finals like that's like that. That would be really cool.
Well, that is what we are building up to at these majors, you know, that pivotal moment of all of Dota for the year. And would be an honor to see both of you, of course, at something like that, indeed. LizZard, is there anything out there that you still want to do in the world of Dota 2?
No, I always wanting that's to play a TI. I never
No,
managed
that's
to
a
do
shame.
it. So yeah, I'm satisfied though. I'm very happy. Like I basically while I was playing, I was like, "Oh, these stupid casters, just stop talking." You know, like that's the attitude most players have. And then I became one, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is kind of chill. I like it."
So you're going to come out of retirement with Jack.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna play.
Oh, that's
Sure.
what this. Okay, I see.
There we
I see,
go.
I see.
There we go. TI
That's
qualifiers.
the
Let's
real.
go.
All right, and when Slacks, you can sell sponsors for us, right?
No, remember that Slacks was DC,
That's
right?
right.
Of course.
Slacks is technically also in there.
So he's the sub because he was the sub.
Yeah,
on that.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
He actually reached highest on TI from all of us, right?
all right.
That is correct.
Let's do it. I'll
better
talk
than
to Quinn
everyone.
tomorrow. And yeah.
All right, guys. Well, any expectations to see? We have so many things to see left in the major, and of course, you two have the morning shift tomorrow. So pretty much 90% of the people that are awake right now watching this show will not be seeing that in approximately 10 minutes from now. So anyway, is there anything that you want to talk to people about that are on this side of the world that probably have not seen you before, or might be in a different time zone? Just a little bit about you and say your goodbyes.
Just, I guess, thank you. Like it's been really strange for me, like how receptive people have been, just in general, because, like LizZard was mentioning, I've been toiling in obscurity for a very, very, very long time, right? Some people have the people who have known me, but most people haven't. And in a very short span of time, that feels like not only are people like recognizing who I am, but are actually giving me a lot of grace, firstly, to be like, allow me to grow, recognizing I'm not the final product just yet. But of the product I am delivering, people seem to be enjoying it, and the people are allowing me to be me. So,
Man,
thank you.
You're sharing so much love. Like you're a blessing to be around. So
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's been awesome getting to meet you for the first time. So there you go. All right, Jack.
all right, Jack.
You old bastard.
Oh, the
What-
tone
what
just
are you
suddenly
peddling
shifted.
this time?
No, there's nothing about me. I just want to say that for all the negativity often that comes around these events and when things aren't going smoothly, there's a lot of really hardworking people behind the scenes that make it happen. I'm very fortunate. Like I can just be there for one stretch of the day, but the same producers and the same staff that were behind the camera that were up this morning, they've been there the whole day and they have a 5:30 call time. And there's many people like that that help make these events happen. When you hold an event in a new place or under new circumstances, things will inevitably be a little bit rocky. And so hope that we can show some appreciation and positivity towards the people that make these events happen, like the nuts and bolts. They'll never see them on camera, but it's tough. It's not easy making all these moving pieces work. So yeah, I hope we can show some appreciation for that.
Oh, well, that's very sweet of you. Yes, the future of Dota is in our hands, I think, and the more people that are trying to make experiences and trying to make events and making them good, there's always room for improvement. There's always room for positive, criticism. But these are the shepherds that will carry us for the next 10 years, since that is coming up. So, LizZard, any goodbyes tonight? I'll give you an opportunity to say anything.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Slacks.
Shut up, idiot. Damn it. I give you one moment to take the world by the reins, and then you waste it. Anyway, thank you, LizZard.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure doing this show. Well, thank you all for watching. Monkey Business Show fans and fans of the Major, it has been a wonderful day here today. So much drama, so many new storylines, so many new memes, and I hope that tomorrow will be just as exciting because I'm a sicko. I'm sure no one else here is hoping for something like today, but I sure am. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night. Good night, good luck, and we'll see you in a few hours for the end of this major soon. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Buy the merch. Buy, as in buy merch. Go buy merch. Goodbye. Goodbye. Buy it.